Hello everyone, welcome back to another What's for Dinner video, or welcome if you are new. My name is Veronica, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some meals that we've had this past week. So hopefully it can give you some meal inspiration for your family. I also made some banana bread, so I thought I would share with you how I make my wonderful banana bread. Let's get to cooking. This night for dinner, I fixed some creamy Tuscan chicken pasta. The first thing that I done was heat up 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a large skillet. Once my olive oil was heated up, I then added in some diced chicken breast. I used the Perdue diced chicken breast. It was already diced up, so it made it a whole lot more convenient. And this was a total of 2 pounds of chicken breast. So I just added that to my skillet and let that chicken cook completely through. While my chicken was cooking, I added just a little bit of salt and pepper, and that way it would flavor the chicken a little bit more. This was our first time trying this recipe, and I have to say we all thoroughly enjoyed it. It turned out really good, and it's super simple to make, especially if you're using chicken that's already diced up. It made it a whole lot easier and faster. So once my chicken was finished cooking, I removed it from my skillet, and I also started to make my pasta. I boiled 1 pound of penne pasta, and I just fixed that according to the package directions. I then returned my skillet back to the heat and added in 2 tablespoons of butter, and then I added in 1 jar of sun-dried tomatoes that I had drained the oil off of, and 2 cloves of garlic, and I just mixed that up a little bit. I then added in 3 cups of baby spinach, and whenever I got my spinach added, I mixed all of that up to make sure my spinach was well coated with the other ingredients, and I just cooked that until my spinach started to wilt. Once my spinach started to wilt, I then added in 3 cups of heavy whipping cream, and I stirred that up, and I let that heat up and come to a simmer. This creamy sauce that I'm making here is by far my favorite part of this recipe. It was so good and so creamy. I could have just ate the sauce by itself. It was so good. Once my sauce came to a simmer, I then added in 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. I then stirred up all of those ingredients together to make sure everything was well combined, and then I added my chicken that I had previously cooked back into my skillet and my penne pasta that I had cooked as well. And whenever I got all of that added back to my skillet, I then just stirred everything together until it was well combined, and then it was ready to serve. This recipe was super easy to make, and it took very simple ingredients, and it was delicious. It is now one of our family favorites. It took me about 30 minutes to make this entire meal. I also fixed some garlic breadsticks and some garlic cheese toast to have as a side with our meal. And like I said, I will definitely be making this again. And honestly, if you don't like meat, if you are not a meat eater, this would have been good with just the pasta without the chicken. It was so good. And here is our creamy Tuscan chicken pasta and our Great Value 5 cheese Texas toast and Great Value breadsticks. And here is my plate, and like I said, it was absolutely delicious. This night for dinner, I fixed Instant Pot creamy shells and pasta. I start off by turning my Instant Pot to the saute setting, and I wait for the display to turn to hot. And whenever it is heated up, I then add in 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Then I add in 1 small sweet onion that I had already diced up. You can use your favorite onion. The sweet onion is our favorite, so that's what we like to use. And then I just let that cook until the onions become slightly soft. I then add in 1 pound of lean ground beef, and I break that up with my spatula, and I cook that until it's no longer pink, and I make sure that I stir that frequently to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom of my Instant Pot. While my ground beef is cooking, I season it with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then I add in 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And whenever my ground beef is finished cooking, I then hit the cancel button on my Instant Pot to turn that off. I then add in 1 pound box of medium shell pasta over top of the ground beef. And then I pour 1 24-ounce jar of marinara sauce over top of the pasta. And then I take water and pour it in my marinara sauce jar and shake that up. And then I add that to a measuring cup because I want 3 cups of water. And I also want to make sure I get all of my marinara sauce out of my jar. And I just pour that over top of the marinara sauce. And I take a spatula and push my pasta down to make sure my pasta is completely covered in the water and marinara sauce. You don't want to stir those ingredients up. You just want to make sure your pasta is covered in the liquid. I then placed my lid back on my Instant Pot, and I made sure the vent was set to the sealing position. And then I hit pressure cook, and I cooked it for 6 minutes, which was half the cooking time on the box of pasta. But the next time I will probably cook it for just 1 minute longer to make sure the pasta is more tender. And when the pressure cooking is done, I then do a quick release, and then I remove my lid from my Instant Pot, and I hit the cancel button to turn the Instant Pot off. And then I add in 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream and 1 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. And then I just stir all of those ingredients together, and then it's ready to serve. This is one of my absolutely favorite meals. It is so good. I love Italian food. Italian food is by far my favorite. So I do fix a lot of pastas, but they're so good. Does anybody else like Italian food as much as I do? And this is what it looks like whenever it's completely finished cooking. Look at how good that looks. Oh my gosh, it's so creamy and delicious. And here it is in my bowl, and I just sprinkled a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top. This night for dinner, we had breakfast for dinner because my family likes breakfast for dinner better than we like breakfast for breakfast, if you know what I mean. I started off by making some gravy, and I also had some bacon cooking in my griddle pan right beside of my gravy. The way that I make my gravy is I add 1/2 cup of butter to my cast iron skillet, and I let that heat up, and then I add in 1/2 cup of flour, and I mix those 2 ingredients together, and I'll let that cook for a few minutes until the raw taste cooks out of the flour. And then I add in about 5 cups of milk, and I just whisk all of those ingredients together, and I'll let that come to a boil. and I let that boil for a couple of minutes until the gravy has thickened up. This recipe makes a lot of gravy, but I am feeding 6 people, so if you would like to cut that recipe in half to feed a smaller family, you can do that. And then I add just a little bit of salt and pepper to my gravy while it's cooking to taste. And at this point, I have recruited my husband to help me whisk the gravy, because if you don't constantly whisk or stir your gravy while it's cooking, it will burn to the bottom of your skillet. And I am beside him right here, and I am making some country ham. And we also made some eggs to go with our meal. And here's our meal. We had bacon, country ham, gravy, biscuits, and eggs. It was the perfect breakfast for dinner. It was delicious. This night for dinner, we had a pizza night. We fixed our favorite Motor City pizza. We had pepperoni, 4 cheese, and supreme, and I fixed each one according to the package directions. They are super easy to make, and they are delicious. They taste just like they came from a pizza restaurant. Actually, maybe even better. They are so good. I had some bananas in my freezer that I needed to use, so I thought I would make some banana bread. I start off by sifting 1.5 cups of flour into a bowl. Then I add in 1 teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then I just take a whisk and whisk all of my dry ingredients together. And I just set that bowl to the side, and in a separate bowl I add in my bananas that I had let thaw out. I use 3 bananas in my banana bread, so I add all 3 of those bananas, and I just take a fork and just kind of squish those bananas up. And in my KitchenAid mixer, I add in 1 stick of butter and 1 cup of sugar, and then I just turn my mixer on and cream the butter and sugar together. Once those ingredients are creamed together, I then add in 2 eggs and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then I just turn my mixer back on and mix those ingredients together. You don't have to have a mixer to make banana bread. You can do this by hand if you would like. I'm just using my mixer because it's convenient. And whenever I get all of those ingredients mixed together, I then add my dry ingredients to my mixer. And then I turn my mixer back on and mix those ingredients together. And then I add in a 1/2 cup of sour cream, and I fold the sour cream into the other ingredients. The sour cream makes the banana bread perfectly moist. And then I add in a 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. The walnuts are totally optional. It's just what your family likes. Our family likes walnuts on our banana bread, so I add them. And then I fold those ingredients together, and then I add my 3 bananas to that, and then I fold the bananas into those ingredients as well. And you want to be careful whenever you're mixing your banana bread, and that's why I just kind of fold it in, because you don't want to overmix it. And then I spray a loaf pan with some Baker's Joy, and that way my banana bread does not stick to my loaf pan. And then I just add all of those ingredients into my loaf pan, and I spread it in the loaf pan evenly. And then I stick it in the oven that I had preheated to 350 degrees, and I bake it for 1 hour or until a toothpick comes out clean. And here's my banana bread fresh out of the oven. I have tried several different recipes of banana bread, and this is by far our family's favorite. It turns out perfect every single time. That's it for today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.